Sex. Sex. It is oftentimes something we joke about, but to some women, it is a job. It is an industry. To these women, prostitutes, sex is not something they do for their own want, but frequently times to support their family and make a living of. Diane Sawyer of ABC News recently had a program that followed present-day prostitutes. One of these people is a single mom trying to support her family and her 3-year-old boy by working as a prostitute. Another, a college student trying to pay her way through school by working as a prostitute. To these women, prostitution is a job, a way to pay through school or a way to feed their family. Either way, and even more importantly, it's the only way they know how to survive. Resolve that prostitution should be legalized in the United States. Many times people believe that prostitutes are less than people or just someone to be taken advantage of. But have you ever thought about why these women got into prostitution in the first place? To these women, prostitution is their job. Another prostitute, a former nurse, was quoted as telling ABC News, "In here I can work 4, 5, 6 hours if I wanted and make as much money in one day that I can in 2 weeks nursing." To her, this is a job. But yet, prostitution is still a crime. We take away women's jobs and expect them to make money and make a solid living. But doing what? Prostitution is also the crime that has no victim, in which both sides, man and a woman, consent. The only difference in that is that there is an exchange in money. So then, prostitution becomes an industry, in which there is an exchange of money like any other job. The money is exchanged for a trade that is given to the customer. And prostitution has also been called the world's oldest profession, and for this reason exactly. When women, or anyone really, have no job or viable source of income, they could always resort to prostitution. And over the years, as prostitution started to be considered bad and immoral. But who are these people to decide what is moral and what is not? There is nothing illegal about sex, so why should it be when there is merely the exchange of money? Now, when prostitution is illegal, the real victims are the prostitutes. The average city spends roughly $7.5 million each year trying to crack down on prostitution, according to the Prostitutes Education Network. This money goes to stopping prostitution, but really we are only taking away jobs. Last December in Philadelphia, there was a sting, or a plan, to catch prostitutes and the offenders, and when they expected to catch a few, they actually caught 102. Lieutenant Charles Green of the Philadelphia Police was quoted as saying, We're out there every day, but to round up 102 people is something that surprised me. And we spent all this money and time, even right here in Philadelphia, on trying to stop something that is needed for money and work. If prostitution was legalized, all this money could be put to invested elsewhere, where it is needed more. Who is the real victim? It is the prostitutes. They are also the ones who are so often beaten by their pimps. These individuals subject prostitutes to physical abuse, threats of violence, retain a portion of their earnings, and often encourage them to be addicted to drugs. These are the same ones who take women and children off the streets and traffic them to other places, which is selling them. All the bad stories we ever heard about prostitution is because of them. They are the truly terrible people. Now, in the world, we always hear stories of rape and attempted sexual assault. Actually, every 2 minutes, someone in the U.S. is sexually assaulted, according to RAINN, the nation's largest anti-sexual assault organization. Everyone here knows stories of rape and how it is bad. We even had a whole assembly on it. But what they did not mention was what drove these men to assault women. It was their sexual frustration. What was done by these people was completely wrong and corrupt. But with the legalization of prostitution, these people would have a place to take out their sexual frustrations and would no longer be violent. This would then decrease the amount of rapes and sexual assaults that we always hear about. So, prostitution is just like any other business. It is an exchange of money in return for a trade, just like how any other business works. This job is just as vital to a person as it is working at a 7-Eleven store. It is a source of income, but yet prostitution is still illegal. Prostitution being illegalized would allow cities and the whole United States to invest the money that would normally be stopping prostitution to something else that is more important. Not to mention, it would also decrease the amount of rapes and attempted sexual assaults to go down as well. Now, if a woman or man needs prostitution as a practical source of income, whether it is to feed a family or pay through school, it is how they make money and how they survive. Who are we to take this away from them? Thank you, and vote affirmative.